Okay. Good early day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. So, this video is about children and what's going on with children around the world. And I came across this story about what's going on in D.R Congo in Africa. And this article is per The Hill. All right. This article came out March 6th of this year. So, the U.S. Appeals Court, let me flip my camera around. Okay, U.S. Appeals Court dismissed child labor case against major tech companies, including Apple and Google. So let's get into this. All right. Federal Appeals Court has dismissed the child labor case against major tech companies like Apple and Google. The ruling, released Tuesday, ruled in favor of the tech companies. Google parent company Alphabet, Apple, Dell Technologies, Microsoft, and Tesla, and rejected an appeal by former child minors. The former child minors argued that the major companies knowingly engaged in forced labor when purchasing cobalt, which is used in producing lithium-ion batteries for electronics. So everything we use from cell phones, laptops, computers, the computer in your cars, in your fancy vehicles, all of that. The lawsuit was filed in Washington, D.C. by non-governmental organization International Rights Advocates. It alleges that two mining companies, British company Glencore and Chinese company Zhejiang Huayao Cobalt, supply cobalt to the companies. The tech giants who purchased the cobalt were aiding and abetting the cruel and brutal use of young children in the Democratic Republic of the Congo mines. All right. The three-judge panel ruled Tuesday that the plaintiffs have standing to pursue their damages claims, but the companies that purchased an unspecified amount of cobalt through the global supply chain is not participation in the venture under the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2008. So clearly they don't care about children. What's going on in D.R Congo is really deplorable. These devils don't care nothing about children, right? And the government have sold out the people. Okay, all right. And shout out to the people who are on this, making these reports and talking about this, you know, because it's not being discussed enough. We're too busy worried about. Some of us is too busy worried about celebrity gossip and you know the latest dance craze or whatever, right? They just don't care, right? As long as they get in their fancy vehicles and they got the latest gadget, sadly enough, many do not care, you know, and too many just don't know what's going on. They don't have a clue of what's going on. All right, they don't know. So this need to be discussed. More people should be talking about this. Okay, young children, small children, and the history of Congo when you look at it. um, King Leopold did there. He millions and millions. Okay, you look into that. Look into that when you have a chance. Whoever's watching this video, King Leopold, right, and what was done. Okay, you know, you know, and how they sell, um, still sell or make little chocolate hands. Okay, look into that and figure out why and what that means. But now some may think, well, that's the Congo in Africa. Okay, um, that's not over here. Some may think that, and they'll be wrong. Think that can't happen here in United in the States? Think again. Think again. All these countries, all the governments around the world is in on it. Okay, they want the resources in the land. That's all they care about. That's all they care about, right? When are we when are we as a people going to stand up and unite and fight against this tyranny? When? This is what I wonder. But let's see what's going on here in the United States. Let's start with all right. Now this is New York Times article. February of this year. And it says, confronted with child labor in the U.S., companies move to crack down. McDonald's, Costco, and other major brands say they are stepping up efforts to keep minors from the grueling, often dangerous work that goes into their products. Many major U.S. companies, including some of the country's biggest consumer brands, say they are taking steps to eliminate child labor in their domestic supply chains amid revelations that children are working throughout American manufacturing and food production. As hundreds of thousands of migrant children have crossed the southern border without their parents since 2021, growing numbers have ended up in dangerous illegal jobs in every state, including in factories, slaughterhouses, and industrial dairy farms, the New York Times has reported in a series of articles. Working to exhaustion, children have been crushed by construction equipment, gotten yanked into industrial machinery, and fallen to their demise from rooftops. Now, McDonald's says it is requiring private inspectors to review overnight shifts at slaughterhouses that provide some of its meat, where children as young as 13 were cleaning heavy machinery. Suppliers for Ford Motor Company must now scrutinize the faces of employees when they arrive for work. Costco is commissioning more audits with Spanish-speaking inspectors. So now, does that mean McDonald's care for children? Does that mean that Ford and Costco care? Of course not. They're trying to wash their hands clean. It's not us. It's the suppliers. They're just trying to wash their hands clean. They don't care about the children. You think they didn't know? Again, disgusting. All right? Okay. Here's another article. Came out February 7th of this year. Child labor remains a key state legislative issue in 2024. State lawmakers must seize opportunities to strengthen standards, resist ongoing attacks on child labor laws. It's another article talking about it. It says since 2021, 28 states have introduced bills to weaken child labor laws, and 12 states have enacted them. By contrast, 14 states have introduced bills to strengthen child labor protections already in 2024, up from 11 states in all of 2023, as more state lawmakers recognize the need to address increasing violations and threats to current state and federal standards. All right. And then it gives a list. In January 2024 alone, 8 states introduced or took new actions on bills to roll back child labor protections. And you got Florida. Florida lawmakers are debating a bill recently passed by the House that would eliminate long-standing state guidelines on work hours for teens, allowing employers to schedule 16 and 17-year-olds for unlimited hours, including during the school year, and eliminate meals or rest breaks. Isn't that something? Kentucky lawmakers introduced a bill to allow nonprofits to hire 12 and 13-year-olds. Federal law prohibits most non-agricultural employment for children under 14. And a bill to prohibit the state's labor commissioner from setting standards on child labor that exceed minimum protections under the FLSA, effectively repealing state standards that require meal and rest breaks for minor workers, and that limit work hours for 16 and 17-year-olds. Right? 2 other states, Indiana and New Jersey, have also introduced bills to extend the number of hours minors can be scheduled to work, either during the summer or year-round. 2 states, Missouri and West Virginia, have introduced new bills to eliminate youth work permits, and the Georgia bill, introduced in 2023 and recommitted in 2024, would also eliminate youth work permits and allow 14-year-olds to do landscaping work on the grounds of workplaces where they are otherwise prohibited from working, like factories and mills. So again, it's just an attack on children, and I know there are some that don't see a problem with this. Okay, you might have some who would want their children to go out there and work, so they don't have to, and that's something. All right. And again, when are we as a people going to stand up and unite against this tyranny and attack on children? When? Okay. The migrant issue is is definitely a problem. Um, you know, children coming across the border undocumented, um, because they're like ghosts. They're undocumented, and they're getting these jobs, right? These companies and these corporations are taking advantage, and it's being allowed. They're rolling back the laws, making it easier for these companies, these corporations to get away with this. Okay? And then, and then, And then you got to think about the children that go missing every year, kidnapped. That's another conversation. Okay, this is according to Child Watch of North America. It says an estimated 800,000 children are reported missing each year, more than 2,000 children every day. An estimated 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 10 boys will be SV'd. You know what I mean when I say that, SV'd before age 18. Yet only 1 in 3 will tell anyone. Clearly, much more needs to be done. Now, that's reported. That's reported. When you add on the cases that are not reported, then the numbers just balloon. But 2,000 children every day reported, more than 2,000 every day reported missing. An estimated 800,000 each year. Of course, again, it's way more than that. Way more than that. When you think about when you add in the cases that are not reported, it's just balloons. And what's being done about it? What are we doing about it? What are we going to do about it? Again, forget the celebrity nonsense. We need to talk more about our children, our babies. More needs to be done. There are those in the fight talking about it and making content about it, but not enough. Okay, now I know I'm started out. I'm just starting out. I'm making, I made some exercise videos and motivation exercise, but I will be touching on topics such as this. More needs to be done. We need to do better when it comes to protecting our children. Okay, we need to do a better job. We need to come together. All right, but once again, if you're thinking that what's going on in the Congo can't happen here, you're wrong. You're wrong. 2020, when everyone had to stay home and a lot of folks roll their sleeves up, started found out ways to work for themselves just to keep themselves afloat. A lot didn't go back to their jobs. They're still, as of today, um, working for themselves or working online, doing whatever online. So that's why you're seeing. That's a good reason of why you're seeing these laws being passed, and these child labor laws that were in place to protect children, now being rolled back in some of these states, right? And when you pay attention to this, you can see who's pulling the strings on a certain level behind the scenes when it comes to laws that are passed on the state level and on the federal level. Okay, because money talks, right? These devils will pay for what they've done, especially to what they've done and what they're doing, especially to the children, especially to the babies. And the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper as to why an estimated 800,000 children reported missing each year, more than 2,000 every day. And again, it's much more than that. That's just that estimation is reported. It's not talking about the unreported cases. Again, when you add in the unreported cases, the numbers balloon, right? And that's and then when you add in, that's the United States. When you add in around the world, that number balloons even more. The rabbit hole goes a whole lot deeper. All right. And on this channel, I'll touch on it. Okay. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay positive. Pay attention. All right. And for those of you who have children, have babies, give them an extra hug. Give them some extra love today. Peace.